All right, thank you guys for coming out this afternoon. We'll speak on my case first. On June 22nd, 2024, at approximately 4:06 p.m., Austin Police Department officers responded to the call of a deceased person at 2606 Metcalf Road. The caller had stated they seen what appeared to be a deceased person at this location. Officers arrived and located an obviously deceased female in an abandoned house. This female was later identified as Elisa Rivera. She was pronounced deceased at 4:34 p.m. by Dr. Escott. Homicide detectives and crime scene specialists responded to process and interview witnesses. The investigation is still ongoing, but Rivera was murdered at this location by an unknown suspect, and her body was left at this residence. A press release for this murder was issued, as well as surveillance video showing a person of interest seen walking with the victim shortly before she was murdered. This was initially believed to be an isolated incident.
On August 7, 2024, there was a DNA link found between this case and April 14, 2018, unsolved murder of Alba Janice Avalis that is being investigated by the Bastrop County Sheriff's Office. The Austin Police Department has been in contact with the Bastrop County Sheriff's Office and discovered that on April 14, 2018, at approximately 7:30 a.m., the body of Alba Janice Avalis was discovered by a passing motorist. Alba was found in her silver sedan parked in the 300 block of Old San Antonio Road, Bastrop County, Texas. Avalis had been strangled, and it was ruled to be a homicide. Avalis was 28 years old. It was found that Avalis had been at Club Caribe on Felter Lane in Austin, Texas, the night she was murdered. This was just over 3 miles away from this 2024 murder.
There have been no suspects identified in either of these cases. Both murders appear to be sexual in nature. There is no known link between either victim. Both scenes have a similar MO. Currently, the Bastrop County Sheriff's Office has been working with the Texas Rangers to explore genealogy. And over here, you'll see some of the surveillance video that was prior put out with the initial press release.
So the videos and pictures will be sent to us, correct?
That's correct.
Oh.
The videos already have been sent to you, but we are sending out the picture of the 2018 in the new press release.
So is this the video from 2018?
This is the video for the 2024 one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this subject was seen walking with our victim within 24 hours of her death. And we're currently calling him a person of interest.
This surveillance video was in the same vicinity of where the abandoned home was, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Well, we can open up to questions if anyone has questions.
What exactly is the connection between the two that you're suspecting as of now? I know the investigation is ongoing, but is there forensic speculation that this is what is linking the two?
Correct. The actual link between the two is DNA that's linking the 2018 to our current murder.
Can you specify what DNA that is?
Just the suspect DNA at both scenes. I can't get into more specifics about it, but both victims are believed to have been sexually assaulted. There was DNA found at both scenes, like multiple sources of DNA at both scenes. But the same suspect links back in both cases. Unfortunately, that suspect does not come back to what we call CODIS, the national database, so they're not in that system. Yes.
For the most recent suspect, Alyssa, she was found in a home dead. Do you know how she was killed?
She is believed to have been strangled as well.
Okay. So they were both strangled?
Correct.
When you looked at both scenes, were there, you said both were strangled, were both similar lacerations or similar injuries or similar kind of ways in which it happened?
Correct, yes. There was trauma to the body on both as well.
Do you guys believe that it's just these two women at this point, or that there could potentially be more?
There could be more. These are the only two that we've actually linked through DNA. If there were other scenes or other crimes that the subject has perpetrated, it has not been linked back to this. Now, not to my knowledge, we don't have any outstanding murders matching anything even close to this MO, but these are the only two that are actually linked through DNA.
Yes, I mean, I know we have a video here, but is there any suspect description that, you know,
Sure. Generally through the course of our investigation, and this is preliminary, but we believe it to be a short Hispanic male. And that's pretty, no.
I know that you said it's a person of interest. Do you know, based on kind of your video or observations, was it romantic, or were they friends, or kind of the link or relationship between the two?
Yeah, that's unclear. Yeah.
Given that this happened across two counties, do you have an idea of where the suspect might reside, or is there a general idea? Are you working closely with the Bastrop County Sheriff's Office to identify?
We are, yes. So over the course of the past days, the past week, we've been talking to them regularly, just trying to find out if there's any other similarities. As Detective Anderson had mentioned, Club Caribe is only 3 miles away from where our victim was found, so it's definitely possible that the suspect is still either lives in the area or visiting somebody in the area, but for it to have been so geographically tied is, pretty coincidental.
did the women appear to be, either victim appear to be, compromised through, whether it was a date rape drug or anything like that?
I don't believe. We're still waiting on some things to come back yet. The second autopsy is not yet complete.
Is it normal? So, like, when you find the DNA, but then not having, like, it matched to somebody, I guess kind of talk us through that process, right? It's like,
Sure.
somebody might be watching, like, oh, you have the DNA, but you don't have a suspect.
Yeah, it's relatively rare. It takes somebody not having committed a felony, being arrested, and their DNA being entered into the system, which typically people committing really violent murders have probably committed something similar to that in the past, or at least been arrested, and that does not appear to be the case in this case.
So, on these videos, both of these are Alyssa, correct?
Yes.
How did they end up meeting, getting to the point where they're walking down the street? Is that at another club?
That's a good question. We don't know where they met either. They could have known each other for some period of time. They could have met just that day. So that's still being explored and investigated.
What's your hope with sharing this information?
Anyone that knows Alyssa would hopefully come forward if they had any little bit of trivial information, someone they thought she might have been hanging out with recently, somebody that maybe moved into town recently. Any little bit that they think could be helpful, especially knowing that there's another victim in this case, would definitely be helpful.
What's the gathering of the evidence process for you now since the first initial suspected homicide in 2018 with Mrs. Avi was? Are you interviewing some of her friends and family as well? Are you going through cell phone records? What else in addition to DNA gathering are y'all along with the Bastrop County Sheriff's Office doing to find the suspect?
Sure. So we're comparing a lot of the evidence that we have with their case. So they went back and they tried to capture, whatever cell records that they could, any sort of electronic evidence, physical evidence. They spoke to various people, and I won't speak too much to their case, but they have a lot of work that they put into their case. So we're trying to compare notes and see if there's anyone that may come up in both cases or that may have lived here. So it's going to take quite a bit of research and coming through the data.
Can you stress the urgency and importance of anyone who knows any information coming forward and not holding back?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone that knew either of these victims, by all means, anything that you may have seen, we don't know if the suspect frequents clubs. We have no idea. We know that there was a tie to it in the first murder, but in the second one, there's no evidence of that. So anybody with any information, even if it seemed trivial, if they knew either of these victims, we asked them to call our homicide tip line.
Anything else? Thank you so much, y'all. We appreciate it.